A world-renowned chef publicly dismisses a talented line cook based on appearance alone, laughing, mocking, refusing to taste his food. But when a prestigious blind taste test forces both dishes onto the same plate, the room falls silent. The line cook's creation wins, the champion chokes, and the kitchen will never be the same. The culinary master's invitational hall buzzes with energy. Stainless steel gleams under hot studio lights. Camera shutters click like rapid heartbeats. Vincent Morrow stands at Station 1, ivory chef's coat pressed sharp, gold metal heavy around his neck. His hands move with practiced elegance, plating microgreens with tweezers. The crowd watches, mesmerized. At Station 12, near the back corner, Marcus Williams keeps his head down. His white uniform is clean but worn at the elbows. His knife moves steady through onions, each slice precise, mechanical. Morrow glances across the room, pauses, straightens, points. Did someone let the dishwasher compete? His voice carries. Laughter ripples through the crowd like a wave breaking on rocks. Marcus doesn't look up. His knife continues its rhythm. Chop, chop, chop. Morrow walks closer, gold metal catching light with each step. Seriously, who approved this? More laughter, cameras pivot, flashes explode. A judge clears her throat. All registered participants are welcome, Chef Morrow. Morrow grins, shrugs theatrical shoulders. Well, this should be entertaining. He returns to his station, winking at a cameraman. Marcus sets down his knife. His hands don't shake. His jaw tightens once, releases. He reaches for a cast-iron skillet, handle wrapped in faded cloth. The room goes quiet for half a second. Then someone snickers. Morrow leans to the chef beside him, voice loud enough to carry. Is he going to fry chicken? The laughter isn't scattered anymore. It's a chorus. Marcus lifts the skillet, sets it on the burner, turns on the heat. Hey, before we continue, drop a comment below and let me know where you're watching from. And if you want to see how this story ends, hit that like button and subscribe. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. Marcus Williams wakes every morning at 4 a.m. No alarm needed. His body knows. He lives in a studio apartment in the Riverside district, third floor walk-up, rent paid on the 15th like clockwork. The place smells like cumin and thyme and old paper. His grandmother's cookbook sits on the counter beside the hot plate, spine cracked, pages soft from years of use. He showers fast, dresses in the dark, catches the first bus at 4:45, transfers at Morrison Street, arrives at Riverside Kitchen by 5:30. The restaurant is decent, nothing fancy. White tablecloths, candles in glass holders, a menu that changes with the seasons. Marcus preps mise en place before the morning crew arrives. He chops vegetables, portions proteins, tastes stocks with a small spoon he keeps in his apron pocket. He's been a line cook for 3 years. Before that, prep cook. Before that, dishwasher. Head chef Angela knows he's good. She lets him work the fish station on weekends. Sometimes she asks his opinion on new dishes. He offers suggestions quietly, never pushes. At night in his apartment, Marcus cooks from his grandmother's book. Red beans and rice, etouffee with hand-ground roux, gumbo that fills the hallway with smoke and memory. His grandmother, Lorraine Williams, raised him in New Orleans after his parents passed. She never owned a restaurant, never went to culinary school, but her kitchen was a temple. People came from 3 neighborhoods for her Sunday suppers. She taught him to taste, to listen, to respect every carrot, every grain of rice, every pinch of salt. Cook with truth, baby, she'd say, wooden spoon in hand, tasting red gravy from a pot older than Marcus. Fancy words don't make food better, truth does. She passed when Marcus was 16. Heart attack in her kitchen, wooden spoon still in her grip. Marcus keeps cooking, keeps learning, keeps dreaming of a small place someday. Nothing grand, just honest food that makes people close their eyes. The invitation to the Culinary Masters Invitational arrives in a plain envelope. Regional showcase. Submit 1 dish. Open to all skill levels. Marcus stares at it for 3 nights, finally checks the box, seals the envelope, drops it in the mail before he can change his mind. The convention center is massive. High ceilings, polished floors, banners hanging like flags in a cathedral. Marcus arrives early, carrying his grandmother's skillet wrapped in a towel. Security checks his credentials twice. A volunteer points him toward Station 12, back corner, near the service entrance. He unpacks slowly, skillet, knife roll, small containers of spices labeled in his grandmother's handwriting. He arranges them in a line, smallest to largest. The hall fills. Chefs arrive in pressed whites, carrying knife cases that cost more than Marcus's monthly rent. They shake hands, embrace, laugh loud and comfortable. Vincent Morrow enters like royalty. Cameras swarm. He waves, smiles wide, touches his gold medal. 3 Michelin stars. James Beard Award. Youngest chef to win the International Culinary Championship. He moves to Station 1, front and center, elevated slightly on a platform. His assistants unpack molecular gastronomy equipment, sous vide machines, nitrogen tanks, tweezers that gleam like surgical instruments. Morrow surveys the room. His gaze lands on Marcus. Pauses. He tilts his head, walks over, footsteps echoing. Hey, Morrow's voice is friendly, almost curious. You lost, man. Marcus looks up, Station 12. Morrow glances at the skillet, at Marcus's worn knife roll, at the small spice containers with handwritten labels. His smile shifts, hardens at the edges. You're competing. He says it like a question, but it's not. Yes, sir. Morrow laughs. It's not cruel yet, just disbelieving. Okay. Good for you, man. Participation trophy energy, I respect it. He turns to leave, stops, turns back. What tray you making? Braised short rib, Creole style with dirty rice in. Braised short rib, Morrow's smile widens. Classic, little heavy for a showcase, but hey, you do you. A cameraman approaches. Morrow's posture shifts, opens. He gestures toward Marcus. Get this. We got the full spectrum here today. From molecular to, he pauses, looks at the skillet. Home cooking. The cameraman chuckles. Morrow winks. Marcus sets the skillet on his burner, doesn't respond. Morrow leans closer, voice dropping to a stage whisper loud enough for 3 stations to hear. Real talk. You should stick to washing dishes, friend. This isn't a church potluck. Laughter erupts, sharp, cutting. Marcus's hand tightens on the skillet handle. His grandmother's voice echoes. Don't let them make you small. He releases the handle, looks Morrow in the eye. Good luck today, chef. Morrow grins, pats Marcus's shoulder twice, walks back to Station 1. The judges announce 30 minutes until blind tasting begins. Marcus lights his burner. The flame catches, steady, blue. Marcus stands at his station, hands flat on the cool steel counter. The room hums. Chefs laugh, prep, call out to each other like old friends reuniting. Morrow's voice rises above the others, confident and booming. Inside Marcus's chest, something tightens. Not anger, not yet, something quieter, heavier. He thinks about the 2 buses, the early mornings, the nights spent cooking alone, trying to get the roux exactly the color his grandmother made it, not burnt, not blonde, somewhere in between where magic lives. He thinks about her hand, scarred from burns, strong, steady. Cook with truth, baby. Marcus closes his eyes, breathes, opens them. The judges are setting up the blind tasting area. Black curtain, numbered plates, no names, no faces, just food. 30 minutes. He reaches for his spices. His grandmother's handwriting blurs for a second. He blinks, refocuses. Morrow's laughter carries across the room. Someone says something about keeping it real. More laughter. Marcus unwraps his short ribs. The meat is dark, marbled, perfect. He bought it from a butcher in his neighborhood, a man who knows quality, who doesn't cut corners. He heats the skillet, adds oil. The scent rises, neutral, clean, ready. His hands don't shake. His grandmother taught him that. Steady hands, steady heart. He seasons the meat, salt, pepper, a whisper of cayenne. The skillet hisses when the short ribs hit. The sound is pure, immediate, real. Marcus doesn't look at Morrow, doesn't look at the cameras. He cooks. Marcus was 8 years old the first time his grandmother let him help. She pulled a wooden stool to the stove in her narrow kitchen on Dumaine Street. The kitchen smelled like onions and celery and bell pepper, the Holy Trinity, she called it. Stand here, baby. She patted the stool. Marcus climbed up, barely tall enough to see into the pot. Cooking isn't about recipes, she said, stirring roux with a wooden spoon worn smooth. It's about listening. You hear that sound? The roux bubbled soft and low. That's it talking, telling you it's ready. She let him taste, taught him to close his eyes, let the flavor settle on his tongue before deciding. Too much salt, she'd ask. He'd nod or shake his head. Good, you're listening. She never measured. No cups, no spoons, just her hands, her instinct, her years of knowing. Lorraine Williams never went to culinary school. She worked as a housekeeper for 30 years, cooked at night for neighbors, for church functions, for anyone who needed feeding. Fancy kitchens don't make great chefs, Marcus. Hart does. She taught him to brown meat until it sang, to build layers of flavor like stacking bricks, to taste, adjust, taste again. When Marcus was 16, he came home from school and found her on the kitchen floor, wooden spoon still in her hand, gumbo on the stove still simmering. The funeral was small. The repast was large. People brought food, told stories, cried into paper plates. Marcus couldn't eat, couldn't cry. He stood in her kitchen, staring at the stove. The next day he cooked her red beans and rice, burned the first batch, cried over the second, got the third one right. He's been cooking ever since, working his way through her cookbook page by page, trying to honor her, trying to prove that her way, no culinary school, no Michelin stars, just heart and truth, matters. The invitational feels like a test, not of skill, of worth. If he can make her food stand beside theirs, if judges can taste it blind and choose it, maybe then her voice, her lessons, her kitchen on Dumaine Street mean something beyond memory. Marcus browns the short ribs in the cast-iron skillet. The meat caramelizes dark and perfect. He removes them, sets them aside. In the same skillet he builds the base. Onions first. They soften, edges turning golden. Celery, bell pepper, the holy trinity. He adds garlic, lets it bloom fragrant. Tomato paste, cooked down until it deepens. Red wine scraping up the fond, those beautiful brown bits stuck to the bottom. Stock bay leaves, thyme. The short ribs go back in. He covers the skillet, slides it toward the back of his burner. Low heat, slow time. While it braises, Marcus starts the dirty rice. Chicken livers diced small, ground pork, the trinity again, finer this time. His hands move automatic, muscle memory. His grandmother's voice narrates each step in his head. 15 minutes left. He tastes the braising liquid, closes his eyes. Good, but not there yet. Something's missing. That final note his grandmother always found, the one that made people pause mid-bite and ask, "What is that?" Marcus opens his eyes, stares at his spice containers. Across the room, Morrow plates his dish. It's architectural, vertical. A short rib standing upright, held by a parsnip puree tower, microgreens cascading like a waterfall, gold leaf perched on top like a crown. The crowd gasps, cameras flash. Marcus looks back at his skillet, at his grandmother's handwriting, at the small container labeled secret. He opens it, smoked paprika, a pinch of cane syrup, cayenne. His grandmother's final lesson: when it's good but not magic, add what feels right, not what the recipe says. He adds a pinch of smoked paprika, a thread of cane syrup, the smallest whisper of cayenne. Stirs. Tastes. His eyes close, his chest loosens. There, that's it, that's her. He plates simply, short rib over dirty rice, braising liquid spooned around, a sprinkle of parsley. No tweezers, no gold leaf, just food. Time's called. The judges collect plates. Behind the black curtain they go, Morrow's architectural masterpiece and Marcus's cast-iron truth. Plate A, plate B. No names, no faces, no gold medals. Just taste. The blind tasting area is silent, except for the soft clink of silverware on porcelain. 3 judges sit at a pristine white table. The head judge, Margaret Chen, has been evaluating food for 23 years. Beside her, Chef Antoine Dubois, owner of 4 restaurants across Europe. And on the end, food critic Sarah Blackwell, known for ending careers with a single review. 2 plates arrive on white trays, labels face down, plate A, plate B. The server sets them down, steps back, disappears behind the curtain. Margaret lifts her fork to plate A, Morrow's dish. The short rib stands vertical, dramatic, almost defiant. She cuts through. The meat yields, she tastes. Her eyebrows lift, she nods once. Impressive technique, the puree is silk, the meat is perfectly cooked. Antoine tries next, chews slowly, swallows. It's very good, very controlled, though perhaps a bit, he pauses. Sterile. Sarah writes something in her notebook, tastes, nods, technically flawless. They turn to plate B, Marcus's dish. It looks humble beside plate A, no height, no architecture, just meat and rice and sauce. Margaret cuts into the short rib. Steam rises, carrying scent. She brings the fork to her mouth. She chews, pauses, her eyes close. She takes another bite, then another. Antoine watches her. Margaret. She sets down her fork, reaches for plate B's sauce with a spoon, tastes it separately. Her hand moves to her chest, pressing gently. She stops, breathes. This is extraordinary. Antoine tastes, his expression shifts, softens. He takes another bite, then tries the rice. Oh my. Sarah tastes last. She's known for stone-faced reactions. She chews, sets down her fork, picks it up, takes another bite, another. She looks at Margaret. When was the last time you tasted something that made you feel something? Margaret's eyes are wet. Years. The three judges taste again. Compare, go back to plate B. Antoine closes his eyes. Plate B has soul, it has, he searches for words. Memory. Sarah nods. Plate A is perfect, plate B is true. Margaret stands. She's made her decision. The curtain pulls back. Judges return to the main stage. The hall goes quiet. 200 people lean forward, cameras focus, red lights blink. Marcus stands at station 12, hands at his sides. His heart hammers, but his face stays calm. Maura leans against station 1, arms crossed, smile confident. The gold medal catches stage lights. Margaret Chen steps to the microphone. Her voice is clear, steady. We have a decision. Maura straightens, adjusts his collar. This was not an easy choice. Both dishes demonstrated skill and passion. However, one dish transcended technique. Maura's smile widens. Plate B wins. Silence complete, suffocating. Maura's smile freezes, melts. I'm sorry, what? Margaret looks at her notes. Plate B demonstrated not only technical proficiency but emotional resonance. The flavors were layered, complex, and she pauses. Honest. Maura steps forward. That's impossible. You tasted plate A, the parsnip puree. We tasted both dishes, Chef Maura. Margaret's voice is firm. Plate B won. Then the tasting wasn't blind. Maura's voice rises. Someone told you which plate was mine. The tasting was completely blind. Antoine stands beside Margaret. We didn't know which chef created which dish until this moment. The curtain pulls back fully. Marcus stands there, cast iron skillet still on his station, grandmother's spice containers in a line. Maura turns, sees him. His face drains of color. Maura's voice cracks. The line cook. The room holds its breath. Marcus doesn't speak, doesn't smile, doesn't move. Maura's hands shake. He looks at the judges, at the cameras, at the crowd, back at Marcus. This is rigged. He slams his palm on the judging table. The microphone screeches. This is absolutely rigged. Security moves toward the stage. Two men in royal blue blazers, hands raised in placating gestures. Maura steps back, his chest heaves. I demand a retaste, right now, with the curtain open. Margaret Chen's voice is ice. Chef Maura, we've rendered our decision. Please respect the process. Respect, Maura laughs, sharp and bitter. You want me to respect this? He's a line cook. He probably can't even spell sous vide. The crowd murmurs. Some people shift uncomfortably. Others pull out phones, recording. Marcus stands at his station, silent still. Sarah Blackwell stands. She's older than the other judges, silver hair pulled back, eyes that have seen 40 years of culinary theater. I've judged competitions for 2 decades, she says, voice cutting through the noise. I've tasted food from 3-star Michelin kitchens. I've eaten at Noma, at El Bulli, at the French Laundry. She walks to the edge of the stage, looks at Maura, then at Marcus. That dish, plate B, had something most competition food doesn't have anymore. It had soul. It had memory, it had love. Her voice softens. It reminded me why I fell in love with food in the first place. The room is silent. She continues. Your dish, Chef Maura, was technically perfect, every element executed flawlessly, but it felt sterile, like eating a beautiful painting. Maura's jaw works, his face is red. You're saying I don't cook with passion. I'm saying, Sarah replies, that sometimes we get so focused on impressing people, we forget to feed them. Maura looks at Marcus. His eyes are wild, desperate. Say something, tell them you cheated. Marcus finally speaks. His voice is quiet, steady. I cooked my grandmother's recipe, that's all. That's all. Maura's laugh is broken. That's all. He turns away, walks off stage. The crowd parts for him. Backstage, in a narrow hallway that smells like industrial cleaner and coffee, Maura finds Marcus packing his knife roll. Wait, Maura's voice has lost its performance quality. It sounds tired, human. Marcus looks up, says nothing. Morrow leans against the wall. His chef's coat is wrinkled now, gold medal hanging crooked. You got lucky. Marcus zips his knife roll. Maybe. No, not maybe. Morrow steps closer. You got lucky. That judge was having a nostalgic moment. That's all this was. Marcus picks up his grandmother's skillet, wraps it in the towel. If that's what you need to believe. What I need to believe, Morrow's voice hardens. I've trained for 15 years. I've worked under the best chefs in the world. I've earned 3 Michelin stars. And you what? You read your grandma's cookbook and suddenly you're God's gift to cooking. Marcus meets his eyes. My grandmother never went to culinary school. She worked as a housekeeper, cooked at night for whoever needed feeding, but she knew food. She taught me to taste with my heart. Taste with your heart, Morrow scoffs. That's not how professionals cook. Maybe that's the problem. Silence. Morrow's hands curl into fists. Release. Sentiment doesn't win competitions. Marcus picks up his supplies, turns to leave, stops. It just did. He walks past Morrow, down the hallway toward the exit. Behind him, Morrow slides down the wall, sits on the floor, stares at nothing. Margaret Chen appears at the end of the hallway. She watches Morrow for a long moment. Chef Morrow, her voice is gentle now, would you be willing to do something? He looks up. What? Cook one more dish, with Marcus Williams together, right now in front of everyone. Morrow's eyes widen. Why would I do that? Because, Margaret says, I think you both have something to teach each other. The crowd reassembles, chairs scrape, cameras reposition. Margaret Chen stands at the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, we've decided to do something unprecedented. We're asking Chef Vincent Morrow and Marcus Williams to prepare one dish together. Right now, 30 minutes, one station. The crowd erupts, applause murmurs, cameras flash like lightning. Marcus and Morrow stand at opposite ends of a center station, a cutting board between them like a border. The clock starts. Morrow reaches for truffle oil. Marcus's hand shoots out, stops him. Too much. Morrow glares. I've won 3 Michelin stars. And I've cooked with love for 20 years. Marcus pulls the truffle oil back. Trust me. Morrow's jaw tightens. He nods once. They work in tense silence. Marcus dices shallots. Morrow preps a protein duck breast. They don't discuss, they just move. Marcus heats a pan, adds butter. Morrow watches the heat, adjusts the flame without asking. Marcus nods approval. The duck skin hits the pan. It sizzles perfect. Morrow reaches for his nitrogen tank. Marcus touches his arm. No. No. Keep it simple, let the duck speak. Morrow's hands hover, then lower. He nods. They build a sauce together. Morrow's technique, proper reduction, perfect emulsion. Marcus's instinct, a pinch of cane syrup, crushed black pepper, fresh thyme. Morrow tastes, his eyes close. That's really good. Marcus smiles small. It's honest. They plate together. Morrow's precision, Marcus's soul. The duck breast fans across the plate, sauce pooled beside it, microgreens placed with intention but not obsession. Time's called. The judges taste. Margaret closes her eyes, chews slowly, opens them. This is what happens when technique meets heart. Antoine nods, perfect balance. The sauces, he tastes again, transcendent. Sarah sets down her fork, looks at both men. This is what food should be, always. The crowd stands. Applause rolls through the room like thunder. Morrow and Marcus stand side by side. Not quite friends, not quite rivals, something new. After the event, the hall empties slowly. Vendors pack equipment. Volunteers sweep floors. Marcus wraps his grandmother's skillet, folds the towel with care. Footsteps approach. He looks up. Morrow stands there. His gold medal is off in his hand. He looks younger without it, tired, real. I was wrong. Morrow's voice is quiet. Earlier, what I said, he stops, breathes. I was wrong. Marcus nods. Okay. I judged you before I tasted your food. That's not what a real chef does. That's not what, Morrow's voice cracks. That's not who I want to be. Marcus sets down the skillet. My grandmother used to say, pride is the worst seasoning. It ruins every dish. Morrow almost smiles. She sounds wise. She was. Morrow extends his hand. I'd like to learn if you'd be willing to teach me. Marcus looks at the hand, at Morrow's face, at the gold medal hanging loose in his other palm. He shakes his hand. Yeah, I'd like that. They stand there for a moment, Two chefs, different paths, same truth. Margaret Chen approaches. Marcus, we'd like to feature your grandmother's cookbook in our next publication, with your permission. Marcus's breath catches. Really? Really? The world should know her food, her legacy. Marcus nods, can't speak, just nods. Morrow squeezes his shoulder, once releases. Marcus picks up his skillet, his knife roll, his grandmother's spice containers. He walks toward the exit. The evening light pours through the glass doors, golden and warm. Behind him, the kitchen goes dark. Marcus rides the bus home. The skillet rests on his lap, still warm beneath the towel. The city blurs past the window, streetlights, storefronts, people walking home from work. He thinks about the day, about Morrow's laughter turning to silence, about the judges closing their eyes, about cooking beside a man who mocked him, creating something beautiful together. His grandmother's voice whispers, "Cook with truth, baby. Truth always tastes right." Respect isn't given, it's earned. Not with medals or accolades or gold leaf perch-like crowns. It's earned with honesty, with heart, with food that speaks when words fail. In a world obsessed with credentials and pedigree and technique, sometimes the most powerful ingredient is simply cooking like you have something to prove, and everything to honor. Marcus presses his palm to the skillet, still warm, still alive. He closes his eyes, smiles. "Thank you, Grandma," he whispers. The bus carries him home through the golden evening, past kitchens where people cook with love, where food is memory, where truth is the only seasoning that matters. And somewhere, in a kitchen that no longer exists on a street called Dumaine, Lorraine Williams smiles.